Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to discuss getting Resourcerich Africa on the road to success, the Masama coal mine, and Pan-African's reconfigured gold operations. Welcome, Martin. Now, the irony of Africa being resource-rich but remaining poor needs to change. What can be done about this?
I think that we must realize that wonderful treasure in the ground, an Aladdin's cave in the ground, means nothing unless you can bring it to surface economically and market it properly. And what is happening in Africa is that the goalposts keep changing, and being hurt are the people of Africa. But I think that the lessons still have to be learnt because, you see what's happening in Zambia recurring and probably getting worse. You see problems in Tanzania. You see problems in the DRC. And at the same time, people in those areas are needing upliftment, but the proper leadership is not there. How are we going to turn this around? I don't know. Even in South Africa, we should be growing in the same way as Australia is growing because we should be driven by our mining industry. We should be doing as well as Canada. But for some reason, politicians hold it back. And I think they're holding it back to the detriment of the ordinary individual in the street, because why are we sitting here? This is an example of sustainability. Behind us are all these buildings and images of buildings that have only come about because of the gold rush that was here, and the gold we got out the ground, and the gold we sold, and how we did it. Okay, the history there is not that great, and we've got to have a history and a wealth creation situation. We've got to make sure that we create that wealth in the best possible way. These days the technology is there to do it. And even if technology was used to bring out these riches very economically, it would benefit the people in the street because the taxes that would come from that would be enormous. And we need those taxes, and one of the big things we need is the foreign exchange. You need that money going out so that when you want to import something, you've got the cash to do it with. And in order to grow properly, you've got to have both. You've got to have money going out and products coming in, and you've got to have a mixture. Hopefully this region will be a sort of an example of how we can go forward. They're talking about the Mining Charter 3 coming through much faster. Hopefully this will stimulate some investment. It might coincide with the announcement of our election here. Hopefully things will start moving. And I'm told that why they're speeding it up, and this is just a word on the street that I'm picking up, is that there's a massive international meeting here scheduled for late October. So by the time this meeting takes place with all these foreign investments potential here, they want this Mining Charter 3 to be through. But that's just what people are saying along the corridors. But perhaps there's something in that with the election on the way, they want to put all the bad news behind us now, start moving forward solidly and catch up, because it's no good us going through losing another upturn in the commodities business when we've got the commodities.
And staying in Africa, tell us about the Masama coal mine in Botswana.
I'm very happy about that coal mine going ahead. It's Minergie. They've been working on it for a long time. They've now got a license from the government of Botswana to build this mine. It'll be Botswana's first open-cast coal mine, which astonished me. But it shows you that perhaps the government there is keener to allow low-cost type of mines to go ahead. Because the last time I was in Botswana, and I did miss this year's particular Botswana conference, but the previous one, there was a strong indication that the government was changing its mind on coal mining because of the bad attitude of the world towards coal, and that they were looking at the state of their country. They were looking at this half-desert type country and saying, look, we've got so much land here. This is what is needed for solar power. So why don't we put up, a lot of photovoltaic cells and start generating electricity from that at low cost these days, and then sending that into Africa. But presumably, the penny has now dropped. This is also very low cost. The logistics are in place. It's close to all the logistics. It's needed in Africa, but it's going to be needed for decades. Whether you switch to sun energy or wind energy or not, you're still going to need this for a long period of time. So I think they decided this is a very viable operation to go ahead, and that's happening now. And Minergie is listed on the Botswana Stock Exchange, is wanting to be listed on the AIM in London. So it's going to have the funds for this, and it will go ahead.
And lastly, Pan-African has reconfigured its gold operations. What was the reason?
It's incredible that, you had the situation of the deep, dark and dangerous mines in gold, creating serious safety problems for Evander mine, which is owned by Pan African, which is listed on the AIM in London and Johannesburg, and they were hemorrhaging 30 million rand a month, and they had to move fast. And you can see that this company is able to execute very fast, because not only did it have to say to all its workers there, look, we've got to close shaft 8 because it's losing so much money that it'll just cripple us, and they persuaded the workers to take these retrenchment packages. But they also immediately built a surface operation called Ilikulu, and this is a low-cost operation where you recover the gold that's in the tailings dam, so it's on surface, it's there, you don't have to go underground, it's much safer and it's much lower cost. And they managed to build that. It's 1.7 billion rands worth of project in less than a year. So I mean, this was an incredible achievement. So they've repositioned themselves. Now more than half of the gold ounces coming there are from material that is low cost material, that the operation is low cost. But not only that, it's long life. So, and they've also had great success in drilling in Barberton. I think a lot of South Africans have forgotten about exploration. You've got to keep doing exploration. And it's all very well just drilling underground and looking where more gold is, but to actually start a surface drilling operation, put down 20 holes, and then find a wonderful treasure chest is what has happened now with Royal Sheba and Pan African. So, in the short to medium term, they will have another project going, which will also be low cost, because a lot of these ounces are close to surface. They're talking about an open cast operation initially. They also outlined a lot of other projects that could come through, like a Goli in the medium term at Evander. So they've got exciting growth opportunities, but they repositioned. They repositioned as a low-cost, long-term South African miner. And they're saying you can do business in South Africa, despite all the noise. To build a project, 1.7 billion rand project, less than 12 months, to get all the permitting, to get everything behind you like that, shows you that you can do things in South Africa, with a lot of will and a lot of organization. So that was a point they made as well, and that they have also been looking internationally and haven't found anything that can match the accretiveness of they're going to get out of these projects locally. So they're saying, why go anywhere when we can get so much here? And this is a long time after Barberton was discovered, still yielding results. A long time after Evander was opened, able to get a return, and even looking at Igoli and Evander, which it will be an underground, but in the medium term. They don't want to do that immediately. They've just had to not declare dividend at this stage. They've got a fantastic track record in dividend paying. They really are globally competitive in that respect, and they want to get back to it. So they want to make sure they can regularly pay those dividends, but also take advantage of these tremendously accretive projects around them.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on South Africa's mining industry.